Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about SDLC, that is a software or a systems development life cycle. Before I start discussing SDLC, I must mention that the phases are general processes. Phase names or minor processes may vary from company to company and person to person, but the core approach of the concept and logic remains similar. SDLC is a short form of software development lifecycle, sometimes also called as system development lifecycle. Let's think of a real life scenario and understand what is SDLC. Mr. and Mrs. A own a restaurant, for example, A Foods Incorporation. They want to make their business big, so they think of selling their food items online. They contact an IT solution provider. Let's name this provider NJ Tech. So A Foods Inc. is customer and NJ Tech is the solution provider. Remember, the customer may ask for a software, a website, mobile app, or everything together. At the moment, we consider that the customer is asking for a solution which can be anything from this list or maybe everything. So the solution provider, NJ Tech, will first communicate with the customer, that is A Foods Incorporation, and will try to understand their business process. NJ Tech will also ask the customer about their requirements. This becomes the first phase of SDLC. Planning and requirement analysis. So in this process, NJ Tech understands all the problems of customer for which they want a solution. Also, all the requirements are gathered from the customer. Mostly this is done by people who understand the respective industry also. So this type of job is done by team of analysts. Once the requirement is analyzed, feasibility of job is worked out with various factors like time frame. It means, can the job be done in given time frame or not? Is everything possible with available technological resources? Does it justify commercial aspect for the efforts placed, etc. Once the feasibility study is over, the design documents are prepared as per the SRS, that is System Requirement Specification. Design may include business logic, business processes, software architecture, screen layouts and wireframes, database design, and much more. Once the design phase is over, developers begin the actual development using the chosen programming language and selected technologies and tools. This is the actual work which coders are doing. Once the coding is done, the system is developed. Before delivering it to the customer, the solution is tested by testing team. Testing is done for checking the errors, user interface issues, and business logic validations. Nowadays, development is done in parts or modules, so all modules are merged, that is integrated, and then testing is run on whole system. If errors or business logic issues are found, it goes back to the development phase and then comes back to testing until it works absolutely error-free. Now once the solution is tested, it is ready to deliver at the customer end. That is called as deployment. If it is a software, then it's installed on customers' systems. If it is a web or mobile app, then deployed, that is configured on respective servers. This deployment or release is also has few phases. Like once the customer receives the solution, it is tested in real business environment, and it is also called UAT, that is user acceptance test or a beta testing. Once the customer is satisfied, the project is over. At the same time, there is another phase, the last phase, where customer starts using the system. There might be some suggestions or changes or bugs which are again resolved by developers, tested and released. So it's a part of maintenance, which is a constant process in some of the solutions, whereas in some, the product may be frozen with the requirements. Okay, so I would like to repeat my words which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that the phases are general processes. Phase names or minor processes may vary from company to company and person to person, but the core approach of concept and the logic remains similar. Why am I repeating this? Because even in SDLC, there are many approaches. Most commonly used or popular approaches are Waterfall, Agile, Incremental, V model or V-shaped model, and many more. But we are going to discuss and compare two approaches, that is Waterfall methodology and Agile methodology. As you can see in the image, in Waterfall or linear approach, the execution is done in a sequence. The project management team moves to the next phase once the current phase is over. It's a kind of rigid approach in development. This methodology works best with smaller projects and when there is a clear requirement. On the other hand, in Agile approach, development and testing is done simultaneously. It means project is divided into smaller segments, or in other words, smaller projects or modules. And then concurrent coding and testing happens. These smaller parts are called as sprints. In this approach, there is more communication happening among customer, project manager, coder, and testers. This approach is good when you have larger projects and constant requirement changes are needed.